My goodness, people, it has been a while.
Has it been a year?
It's basically been forever.
Basically forever.
I am Vocaloid Happy Pulls, and I have tragically been away at school. But fear not, I am back, and we're going to do one of the requests we've gotten.
I am Super Anime Fan La-di-da, and I have not been away at school. I don't have an excuse except for that she wasn't here.
So, today, we are going to be doing another one of our Fanime reviews, and it's going to be of a request that we've gotten to do, the troll Fanime, Magical Nyoto-Chan.
We got a comment forever ago on our Jack Saga review saying that we should review this Fanime.
And since I've been away, we haven't gotten around to it until now. But, you know, hey, that's better than having not gotten around to it ever, right?
So, now we're going to review it.
Let's do this.
Disclaimer!
We do not own Magical Nyoto-Chan or any of the characters or the art. We also don't own that picture that we used. It was used in one of the episodes, but it was done by YouTube user Sophie Chu.
No, DeviantArt user Sophie Chu.
That's what I meant. DeviantArt user Sophie Chu, but we don't own that. And
we don't own Danganronpa. You'll see why.
We use a reaction image from it. But yeah. Anyway, we don't own anything except for this review and our opinions, so please
don't sue us.
So, first up, let's talk about the plotline. And keep in mind that this is a troll Fanime, so it's not really intended to be very good.
As a troll Fanime, it has a pretty generic storyline. It is a Mahou Shoujo romance, and at the time, a lot of the Fanime coming out that were serious were in fact Mahou Shoujos.
And this one isn't even serious, so...
And also, I'm pretty sure at the time, troll Fanime was starting to become a thing, so this is both.
And the plotline really, as I said, isn't that great.
It's also not that important.
Yeah, it's kind of barely there. You know, in all the episodes, it's just, you know, in the first episode, she finds out she's a magical girl thanks to that pony behind her, who is a little bit like what Luna is to Sailor Moon, like an animal familiar. She transforms and fights evil, and that's basically all that happens in the following episodes.
Meanwhile, she has a barely present crush on Kuru-san, that guy who looks like Hatsune Mikuo.
And there's also the two other characters standing to the other side of her, the girl, whose name is Kyoko-san, and the boy, whose name is Bara-kun.
Wait, Bara?
Did you just say Bara? His name is Bara?
His name is Bara.
Oh. I see.
Okay.
So, that's basically it. Like, there's practically no plot. I'm also not going to fault it on that too much, though, because only 3 episodes have come out, so it hasn't really had time to develop. And there are implications in the 3rd episode of a sort of main villain, but that just hasn't been developed very much yet.
Really, the only issue is that a good chunk of it is spent on gags.
Yeah, and the gags really aren't very funny. Obviously, humor varies from person to person, but I didn't find myself laughing very much, except at the teacher who's voiced by Microsoft Mary.
A lot of them go on for a long time, so it usually takes up a decent amount of time that could have been spent working on the plot, but again, it is a troll Fanime, so...
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to the plot, there was only one really... I mean, it was basically mediocre, but there was only one really, really serious problem for us, and that was in the 3rd episode. In the 3rd episode, her teacher has to go away, I guess, on quote-unquote business, and they get a substitute.
This substitute, wait for it, tries to rape Nyoto-Chan.
It's like something out of a bad hentai, and it was in very, very poor taste.
Not to mention attempting at vivid detail.
And there was no warning whatsoever. Like, I really did not feel like I needed to see that. It made me pretty uncomfortable. I thought it was a joke in poor taste, and I did not find it funny in the slightest. So, yeah.
It was something that should have been left out entirely.
Yeah, just... don't do that again.
No more rape.
Really. So first up, let's talk about the main character herself, Magical Nyoto-Chan.
Keep in mind while we're doing this that pretty much everybody in this Fanime and every troll Fanime ever is blend as, like...
Fuck.
Yeah,
blend as fuck.
And also cliched as fuck.
She is a huge Mary Sue, which again is purely intentional, But she has basically no personality, and there's nothing special about her besides the fact that she can transform.
And she has massive honking tits.
Yes, again, a good chunk of the animation is spent on her boobs.
Return of the boob jiggle physics.
Dun dun dun! But she's a pretty boring, bland character, and even though I'm sure it was on purpose, it's not very interesting to watch because of it.
It's also not very interesting to review. She gives us nothing to talk about.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to her, we're gonna have to end it here. Sorry. Next, let's talk about the love interest, Kuru-san.
He appears twice, not counting the theme song.
And again, he's essentially personality-less. The typical, sugoi, hunky anime boy.
Prince-sama!
And he's, the most popular boy in school, but he appears a grand total of 2 times, which, again, doesn't give us much to talk about. And even if he had appeared more than that, you can tell that he's not going to be a very interesting character just from the sort of stereotype.
He's pretty much a walking, talking cliche and can be compared with with any other character in a troll fanime.
So, again, there's really not much to talk about him, so we're going to have to move on here. Yeah.
Oops.
Next up, we're going to talk about one of the more secondary characters, Kyoko-san.
She appears in the theme, despite only appearing once or twice in the actual show.
However, I have to say, she's my favorite character.
She has this hilarious Valley Girl accent.
And she's a huge bitch.
I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be a stereotypical yandere girl, except they actually managed to make me laugh at her.
And, in this fanime of completely personality-less characters, her personality, despite the fact that it's totally bitchy and mean, is kind of a breath of fresh air when everyone else is just a bland, boring stereotype.
I just wish she appeared more.
Yeah, I've actually found her really funny and kind of liked her. Her boyfriend is Bara-kun, but it's sort of not even implied, but kind of confirmed that she's really mean to him and sort of forces him into the relationship and gets really angry a lot.
Speaking of Bara-kun,
let's talk about him next!
Bara-kun is that one character who exists to get the shit kicked out of him, and that happens a lot.
Yeah, Kyoko is his girlfriend, but she's really mean to him.
In the words of QB, being Bara-kun is suffering.
He gets insulted by her a lot, and she's also very, very jealous over him. Like, if he's seen talking to other girls, as is what happens in the 3rd episode, then she gets very angry.
Almost makes you feel bad for him if he had a personality.
Which he doesn't. I mean, he's just kind of a huge wuss, and that's about it. He's not even really that funny.
And, he looks like Brief.
I mean, they share their wimpiness, at least. But, again, another really, really bland character. I don't know. I'm just not finding this character cast very interesting at all. I guess next we'll talk about the teachers. This is their teacher, and I don't think she has a name, but she's supposed to be a joke on how sexualized the teachers are in Fanime and even in regular anime.
Because of the picture, I'm just going to call her Butt Sensei.
She speaks with the voice of Microsoft Mary.
At least I think it's Microsoft Mary.
I'm pretty sure that's who it is. It's one of the sort of computer voices, kind of like Siri.
If you go watch it, you know what we mean.
She has no personality except for being kind of whorish. And in the 3rd episode, we don't even get to see her that much, because in the 3rd episode she goes off on business to leave, Rape Sensei to go become a substitute.
So, Butt Sensei is kind of boring, but at least she's funny.
Yeah, I at least laughed at her voice, if anything. Next up, we're going to talk about Nyoto-Chan's animal familiar, this unicorn Pegasus thing.
This pony also does not have a name, so I'm just going to call it the pony.
And she's the one that gives Nyoto-Chan her magical powers, but, and I'm seeing a trend here, she is also utterly personalityless. Bland, boring.
Sure, usually animal familiars, even in regular anime, don't have much personality, but
they're not boring as, like, sticks like this thing is.
Also, I know we should bring this up in the technical issues, but the pony has the most annoying voice ever.
I don't know if it's just, and, well, this, I think, paired with the fact that her microphone kind of makes her sound even worse. And, God, with the high-pitched voice, please no. Again, I know it's supposed to be bad, but I mean, there's funny bad, and then there's annoying bad. So this is where we talk about stuff like art, animation, and voice acting, but there's not a lot to say since the art and the animation were intentionally terrible.
As was the voice acting.
Well, we don't know if the voice acting was intentional, and some of it was decent, but a lot of it was bad. For example, after Nyoto-Chan's transformation sequence and during her attack, you can't understand a word she is saying.
Nyoto-Chan's voice actor's mic quality seems to fluctuate a lot.
And the rest of the characters have decent microphones, but their voices are supposed to be kind of cliched, so there's not really much we can say here. The animation was awful, again, probably intentionally, so, not much to say. It was bad, but it was bad on purpose. So, in conclusion, I didn't really think that this was that good or that funny.
I'm sure there's someone out there who would like it, and I certainly didn't find it horrible until the third episode, but I didn't exactly find it funny.
See, the whole funny thing about bad Fanime is that someone does it completely seriously. Like, they make a terrible Mary Sue character and think, wow, this is great. Like, that makes me laugh. So troll Fanimes that are terrible on purpose, it just loses some of the amusingness.
When you try to be terrible, it's not as funny as someone who doesn't know they're terrible.
So, I didn't particularly like it. Plus, that, rape joke in the third episode was just not cool by me.
So, if you're into troll Fanime, or cliched Fanime, and have some sick fascination with rape jokes, you might enjoy this.
But, personally, we really didn't.
That's why we're giving this a 5 out of 10.
It was mediocre, so we're not going to give it a very high score, but it also wasn't terrible, so we're not going to give it a very low score. So it's just going to fall right in the middle there.
It dropped quality by the third episode, obviously.
And so that's all we have to say, but look forward to more reviews from us this summer, since I'll be around. Yuma Studios, out!